From the fast action of the trading pit to the power brokers making the headlines, you'll hear it all on the Traders Network Show with your host, Michael Yorba. All right. Michael interviews the front page titans about the latest in trading tools and market trends in stocks, commodities, bonds, forex, and derivatives. The Traders Network helps you stay ahead of the curve and delivers tomorrow's trade today. Now, here's your host, Michael Yorba.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, first guest on the show today, Wayne Miner. He is the CEO of Buyers Armor. Listen, this is the newest way. This guy's going to revolutionize the industry, the car industry, about how you buy cars, how you trade cars, and we've never had this topic on the show, even though it's the heartbeat of the United States economy, really the auto industry. All right, Wayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Nice to be here.
My pleasure. Let's back up just a little bit. You've got a vast experience in a myriad of industry sectors, but you've got a lot of history in this business. Let's give you a chance to introduce yourself to the audience, some of your background, and then bring us right into what is Buyers Armor.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. We appreciate it at buyersarmor.com. I started in the actually aerospace manufacturing industry a long time ago in Hartford, Connecticut. But shortly thereafter, after graduating and working in that industry for a couple of years, I just knew that that wasn't a fit for me. And I took a summer job actually selling cars at Grody Chevrolet in West Hartford, Connecticut. And and I got into the car business, and from there I got into the financial end of it from the consumer lending standpoint, and went to work for a bank down in Florida that did consumer lending. From there, I actually got put in charge of a segment for dealer software that actually helped formulating the loans and setting up the different guidelines from the different banks, and that's where we started. That's where I originally got the idea for BuyersArmor.com.
Let's get into Buyers Armor. What does it do?
Well, it's very unique. It's the only site that I know of, actually, that sorry about that. It's the only site that I know of that actually was built for consumers. And I'm sorry. My apologies, folks. A little technical difficulty here. All set? Very good. What Buyers Armor does is it allows the consumer to actually access the same data that the dealers have at the dealership itself. So not just the inventory. There's a lot of sites like that. But this actually also includes the lender guidelines. So when you go in to a car dealership now and they actually tell you what your payment's going to be, for instance,
right.
You can do that ahead of time yourself and type in the payment that you want to pay each month, that you know you can afford.
Well, hold on. Every time I've gone into a dealership to go buy a car, they're telling me after the guy goes back in the back room by himself what I'm going to pay. What you're saying, that's not the way it happens anymore? You just completely reverse that process.
Correct. Well, that's what we're trying to do. Certainly. That's the big one of the big secrets, one of the big mysteries, if you will, when you're buying a car, is what's my payment going to be? Right. And you would think, okay, well, I'm going to buy a less expensive vehicle, maybe a used car, and therefore my payment would be lower, right?
Right.
That's common sense, but that is not the case. Quite often, the lesser priced vehicle is an older vehicle, and therefore the bank won't give you as long on the term. Okay, so instead of 60 months, they might give you 36 months. So quite often you're buying a less expensive vehicle, but your payment could be 50%, 100% higher than if you bought a brand new car.
Okay, well, let me make sure everybody gets this at buyersarmor.com, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Why did you choose to go down this road? I mean, because that's a lot of competition. This is a very competitive industry. I mean, now that we know that the buyer can go in and buy a car based on the payment they know that they can afford, they don't have to wrestle with anybody else.
Well, that's just it. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of competition out there, but there's only one site that I know of that is actually built directly for the consumer. And half of our site is free, but half of it is also a premium side. So we're also the only site that I know of that it's actually paid for by consumers. So that's how you know you can trust, buyersarmor.com. All these other sites are actually paid for by the dealership. So, there's I don't want to name any names, but there's some out there that give you, as they're saying, they have the actual best deal. Let's say.
Is this you're launched now? All right. I mean, if somebody
Well,
went
we're
to
active. Yeah.
Okay.
We did a soft launch a couple months ago here in Dallas, and we're looking to go national on November 1st.
Okay.
But certainly people can go to the site now and use it here in Dallas. You can actually look at inventory. Elsewhere, you can find values of cars and what you should pay and so on and so forth. Actually, what the dealer should own that vehicle for. And if you're buying a new car, I can actually give you the invoice. So you can negotiate from cost up rather than retail down. And that's the big difference from what we do. Everyone else tells you, here's what you should pay. Well, if you don't trust the dealership telling you that's a good deal, now you're supposed to trust this website that's paid for by a dealership?
Right.
I don't think so. So that's what makes us unique. That's what sets us apart and hopefully sets us apart from the competition, as you put it. We're the only site. I don't think we have any competition, to be quite honest with you.
Really unique out there in the okay.
First one of its kind.
Let's cover some of the mechanics here because you've just kind of really given everybody a jolt on this. They can actually see what it really is supposed to cost, or for them, what they can negotiate from cost up. They put in their payment, they put in their credit score, but it does more than just say, here's the car. I mean, explain it to the public.
Well, there's two halves to the site.
Right.
Okay, so on the premium side, yes, I can tell you if it's a new car, I can give you the invoice. That is their cost.
Right.
And then you literally negotiate from cost up. On a used vehicle, I don't know what they paid. I'm not part of their business.
Right.
I can tell you what they should pay.
Got it.
What they should have paid. If they paid more than that, I don't know. But you don't want, just because they paid more, you don't want to pay more. So I can tell you what that car is worth on a wholesale basis in any given area in the country.
Yeah, but I looked at your website. It does more than that because you also immediately once they put in the credit score or the credit range.
Okay, you're talking about the free side.
Yeah.
And what this does is, we touched on it earlier, everyone knows what they get paid. And everyone knows what they take home and what their bills are. Mm-hmm. And you asked me earlier, why, how did I get the idea for buyersarmor.com.
Right.
Well, many of my customers in the car business, they were happy with me, but as soon as they went into that, what'd you call it, the back room?
Yeah.
It's in the industry,
we
call it the box.
The box. Okay.
Yeah. So they went in and saw the F&I manager or the business manager, as they might be referred to. But once they're in there, then he starts. First thing he does is he increases the interest rate as much as the bank will allow him. That's how he gets paid. On the additional interest. And then he's going to try to sell you a warranty and, fabric protection, you name it, anything they can think of, paint protection.
Right.
But that's his job. And he sells the aftermarket, portion of any car deal. So that, of course, increases your payment. He's also going to want to extend the term as long as possible because that will also increase the amount of interest paid and also his paycheck. So that's a whole nother sale that people don't realize. They just think they're going to go in and get their payment. There's a whole that's really where you're buying your car.
Right.
Quite honestly.
That's their spread.
They can make another $2,000-$3,000 on you just in that back room, as you put it.
Right.
So you can buy the car at cost and still overpay in that room. So getting back to the point, what we do is we eliminate all that. This is just you're buying the car. Here's the interest rate you're paying. It's all clearly laid out, and you type in the payment that you want. And what we do, the system that they have in any bank and any dealership starts with the sale price, right? Then it adds the taxes and everything else you're purchasing, registration, so on and so forth, and comes out with an amount financed. Okay.
Right.
What we do is we start at the bottom. We start with your payment, and we actually roll the deal backwards.
There you go.
So if you want to pay $300. Okay, and you got $1,500 down. You just type that in. You type in your credit score, and we actually match you up with the actual lender guidelines that they have at the dealership. We have all those pre-programmed in, and that is the only site I know that does that. That's a lot of work. No one else seems to have wanted to go through. So we're actually giving you real numbers that you would get at the dealership.
How long does it take for me to get that information? Here's the payment. Here's the cars that I've got. Here's where the cars are. Here's a picture of the cars. Mm-hmm. And then here's the banks that will finance me for that payment, right?
Right, yes.
How long does all that take to get that data back to me when I'm looking for a car?
Seconds. 3 seconds.
So 2-3 seconds after I put in my credit score and what my name is and what I want to buy, then snap and boom, here comes the list.
What it's going to do, it's going to list in order, of the the most expensive, most recent vehicle first, okay, that you can get in a descending order. No payment higher than that, whatever you typed in. If you typed in $300, it'll be $300, maybe $299, $275, et cetera, in a descending order. And all the cars you can buy, and you click on them, you can reserve them. You can actually put a deposit on one if you like and hold it at the dealership. Yeah, and you know exactly what the deal is, and there's no hassle. There's no remorse. When you get there, you already know what your payment is. You already know the car. The really only thing you want to do is test drive that vehicle, make sure it's everything you thought it was, and your deal's already done.
How's the industry going to take this? I mean, aren't you in a little bit of an adversarial role on that?
On the premium side, some would say. You know, I look at it more like it's getting their attention, and it's empowering the buyer. You know, it's always been a one-sided equation. You know, the dealership's the only one that has that information, and they're holding all the cards, and it's always been a very intimidating situation to go to a car dealership. And
I like your catchphrase that you've got. What is it? The buyer's armor.
Don't be a fool. Use this tool.
There you
Arm
go.
yourself. Yeah, before you go into battle. And it's really, it's for many people the most expensive purchase they ever make, and for homeowners it's the second. But it's certainly a very important one, no matter what you do. And you want to pay attention to that. That's it's a 5-year expense, 6-year expense in most cases, and you got to make sure that you can afford it. So that's the whole thing. We want to, for those who can afford it, but they just want to make sure they're getting a good deal. That's the premium side. You want to go in. I'm going to tell you what it costs. You're going to go to make your own deal,
right?
But for so many Americans today, it's really, really important. I mean, with this economy, that they get the deal that they need. And they don't have $20,000. They don't have $30,000. They don't have $15,000. They got $1,500, $2,000 saved up, and they know they can pay. Well, take a college student working part time. Great situation.
Yeah.
You got $1,500 that grandma gave you for your birthday. And you can afford $275 a month, $250.
Right.
Where do you get a payment like that today? You type it in, and I can show you all those cars you can buy for that or less.
Yeah, that is great. Now let's talk a little bit about your future. We're going to go to a break here in about a minute or so, because we've covered the product. We've got it. You've got ads running right now, or actually you're going to start them up again, right?
Yeah, we have ads running locally here in Dallas. We're going to go national, like I said, around November 1st. We might even be doing a little bit here on this show, as a matter of fact.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, we want to, we're testing the market and make sure everything works right. It's a brand new product. Everything seems to be working perfectly, actually.
Right.
So it's all go ahead from here. We're also going to expand into other markets, motorcycles, RVs, boats in the future. Yeah, so we have a lot planned.
Yeah, because and then it also does appliances too, right?
It will. Anything that has a book value, we can do.
Wow, amazing. All right, let's do this. Danny, let's go to a commercial break right now. When we come back, Wayne Miner, buyersarmor.com, changing the way you buy, at this point, cars, but soon to be boats, appliances,
RVs,
motorcycles, anything that's got this is great. First time, and he's standing alone in the field. So we'll be right back on the other side of this break with more to come.
The North Texas Traffic Center, we're still not seeing any major accidents, stalls, or delays around the Dallas or the Fort Worth area at this time. But if you happen to see any problems, call us on the traffic tip line. The number is 214-866-8888. I'm Shauna Nance with your KFXR traffic.
Pre-owned with approved credit. It's 2014 model closeout at Pat Loeb Toyota McKinney.
Drive new 2014 Camry LEs for just $149 a month.
Buy leftover 2013 Camry LEs for $13.9 in the discount zone.
Get it fast and fair at PatLoebToyotaofMcKinney.com.
Attention men and women. Are you suffering from back pain, neck pain, or joint discomfort? Would you like to learn of a non-surgical solution? Call American MedFix at 972-591-6675. That number again, 972-591-6675, to receive free info on how you may qualify for natural creams that may provide you with the relief you are seeking. All products are 100% made in the USA. Call now, 972-591-6675, or visit AmericanMedFix.com.
Emmanuel Dalavai is a dynamic business coach, motivational, and public speaking professional. He has worked with numerous Fortune 100 firms and is a highly sought-after business resource. If you're looking for someone to MC your organization's special event, seeking a motivational speaker for a graduation ceremony, or just in need of inspired thought leadership, Emmanuel is your guy. Emmanuel is also the DFW Career Doctor, and if you're seeking employment change, he can provide individual and group consultation for resume writing, interviewing, and other career helps. Contact Emmanuel today by email, help@dfwcareerdoctor.com, or by calling 214-552-7932.
The Garage is a business accelerator and investment fund looking for new ideas in technology, manufacturing, and consumer goods. Our 90-day intensive workshops, taught by entrepreneur mentors, are focused on one thing: helping you make money faster. Each week, you'll experience a class taught by successful entrepreneurs with the guidance of experienced mentors in your field. We get you to revenue faster and help you find investors when the time is right. To learn why we're different, go to workthegarage.com. That's workthegarage.com.
Hey Dallas, where do you go to hear the edgiest uncensored talk and cutting-edge local music? DeepElmOnAir.com. Whether you're looking for a good laugh, honest sports commentary, or DFW's best bands, DeepElmOnAir.com has got you covered. Deep Ellum on Air is located in the heart of Deep Ellum, where you can find the best local music, local businesses, and local people. This ain't your grandpa's radio. Heck, it ain't even radio. It's Deep Ellum on Air. Check them out at DeepElmOnAir.com today.
Want real-time ETF news and insights? As the world's #1 independent authority on ETFs, Index Universe has everything you need for all your ETF research and investment needs. With the world's largest team of dedicated ETF analysts, Index Universe is able to provide the most current news on ETFs and help educate investors on the largest growing area of the financial industry. Index Universe offers the most robust ETF research platform to help you identify the best ETF in any segment of the market. Visit indexuniverse.com today to sign up for their free daily and weekly newsletters, or follow them on LinkedIn and Twitter to stay on top of the latest ETF news.
From the Mini Cooper Weather Center, today partly sunny with a slight chance of an afternoon shower. High of 87. Tonight, fair skies, low of 65. This report is brought to you by the iHeartRadio app.
When life gets too loud, there's always music. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download the app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios. All right, special guest in the studio with me, Wayne Miner, CEO, BuyersArmor.com, changing the way America buys cars, and pretty soon the world, right, Wayne?
That is our plan,
okay.
Certainly.
All right. Now, when we left off, we covered the description of how consumers can use BuyersArmor.com to get the payment on the car they want, get the financing all lined up within seconds once they hit your website. Let's talk about Buyers Armor as a company, because this is an investment show. We talk about investments here, and the claim to fame on the show is that we are always ahead of the curve. You're unique in the field. You've really invented a lot of the processes, the algorithms that work in this for the consumer. Sure. But let's talk about you and Buyers Armor as an investment. If somebody's out there looking to invest in a new something that's going to sweep the world, starting with domestically, future.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, bring us down that road. Sure. Where is BuyersArmor.com going to go?
Well, let me start with where we began. We are a technology company, and we actually wrote software for the dealerships in the beginning. Subprime was a new thing back in the early 90s, and there were so many different risk management formats. I mean, these weren't all – it went from being just banks to actually groups of investors forming automotive finance companies. That was what they call themselves. And, and what they would do is they would give loans when banks wouldn't. So, but they all had a different, appetite for risk, if you will. And that created such a dynamic that the existing dealer management systems that they used, it overwhelmed them. It didn't have the ability to look at all these different options that they had. And therefore, they just really weren't looked at enough. There was many opportunities where someone came in and they had a certain need. I can only afford to pay this, but yes, I have some credit problems, and the dealer just didn't have time to go through stacks and stacks and stacks of papers, and they didn't have this stuff loaded into their system. It was never designed for that. It was designed a decade earlier. So there was, the systems they have do a wonderful job of running that dealership top to bottom and all its different facets, service, parts, etc. So we were really specialists at that time, and we came in and filled a niche in how to examine all of these different options that consumer and that dealership had, to make a deal that worked for everybody. And that's where we started. That kind of went away, with time and with the different economic conditions and so on and so forth. But we still have this wonderful product, and that's when I said, we should really give this to the public. This is a great tool if used, in that fashion, and that's really what allowed us to do what we've accomplished now. And, it took a little while longer than we planned. I've been at it for 4 or 5 years now, actually, and several different programmers to get the right crew on board that understood the car business, understood the IT side, and to really put this on the internet so that everyone can access it.
Yeah.
And that's where we are now. So we've gone from the concept and with a base product to what you see now, buyersarmor.com, which is really, I couldn't be more pleased with it personally. And my crew's just done a tremendous job, and I couldn't thank them enough. But now we're at the point where we got to grow. We have to grow this company. We have the product. It works great. We have the advertising that pulls, the consumers in. It really gets a message across, and we certainly need to expand that nationally. And so we're looking for investors on that. And, the sky's the limit. We've started with individual investors, on a joint venture.
Friends and family round.
Okay, if you want to put it that way. They certainly are now.
Yeah.
and now, institutional funds are taking a very good look at us, and actually we're getting a lot of offers there. So certainly we are looking for investors. We have some numbers they can call if you like.
Give everybody a number.
214-900-7479 or 214-618-0633. Either of those will get you in touch with the right people, and love to talk to you. There's great opportunity. We certainly want to become a public company at some point. So,
tell us about the expansion. What markets do you see that are viable? Is it any market in any major metroplex that you're going to start rolling this thing out to?
Well, for one thing, there's 208 million licensed drivers in this country.
Right.
Okay. There's about 17,000 car dealerships. So, we can market to all segments of that market. But certainly with the general public, we have tremendous opportunity there, And then you're not waiting to get paid every month when you're billing and all that stuff, okay? When you're just going directly with dealerships, you're getting paid all day, every day by people who want to use your site. There was 15.5 million cars sold last year in this country. I'm sure a conservative number would be 3 or 4 times that. Were looking to buy cars. It didn't. Kept their own vehicle or what have you.
Right. Because they just couldn't get the deal they needed.
Right, for one thing. And then we want to help that situation as well. So that puts us at, 60 million opportunities? If we were to get 1% of that, we'd be a $400 million a year company.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the multiple off of that once you start building your company is going to be amazing. Let's weave in a tip or two for some of the consumers, because that's what you're doing. You're the consumer's advocate. Actually, Ralph Nader was pointing out all of the problems in the industry with cars, but you didn't. You're coming to the bottom line solution. Hits them right in the pocketbook.
Oh, it's easy. It's easy to point out problems in any situation.
Right,
it's a whole other business to solve that problem.
And our show's about solutions, fixing things. So bring some of these solutions, these tips that you can bring out for some of the consumers that are out there that either whether they are or they're not using Buyer's Armor.
I got you. Pitfalls that they may run into, things to look out for when you're buying a car.
Yeah,
okay. Sure, and there's quite a few of them. Just off the top of my head, ACV versus trade allowance. Now, this is the one that applies to everyone who's trading in a vehicle. ACV, actual cash value. Your car is worth whatever it's worth, no matter what anyone shows you, even on paper.
Right.
And the bottom line is, if they can go buy a 2005, Ford Taurus at the auction for X amount of dollars, I don't know what that number is off the top of my head, $3,500, $5,000, whatever, pick a number. Whatever that number that it's worth in actual real dollars, okay? That's all you're getting anywhere you go within a couple of $100. Now, you might owe way more than that. You might owe $7,000, $8,000 on it, right? So when you go to trade it in, they can't give you $4,500 for it. You're going to have to put down an extra $3,500 just to pay it off. So you're obviously not going to want to take that deal.
Right.
So what they do is they show you, it's called an over allowance, which in essence is a discount, is provided they didn't jack up the number on the sale price. Now, if you're buying a new,
Okay.
So the bottom line is this:
It wouldn't do that, right?
no, gosh, no. A car dealership?
Right.
No, it may even be in in good spirit, let's say, to help you get out of a situation. But nonetheless, you need to know what's going on, and don't kid yourself. I mean, 20,000 minus 15, okay,
Right.
obviously is 5,
Okay.
right? Well, if you go 10 minus 5, which is the real deal, it's still the same number. So bottom line is know what you're really getting, and know what that car's worth. You can sell it yourself, and get more.
Right.
Certainly, and those are real dollars.
Right.
And that's one thing to watch out for. So just ask them, they'll tell you, what's the ACV? I might keep it and sell it myself. A good way around that whole situation is don't introduce the trade-in till after you're done negotiating the price. Do it at the end of the deal, not in the beginning.
Aha. Good tip.
Yeah.
Good tip. Nobody's done that before. All right. Let's talk about difference real quick. We probably got about 1 minute left. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll leave buying versus leasing for the next time you're on the show.
All right.
You can come back and do that tip.
Let's come back.
Yeah, I'd love to. And then maybe what we could do is you can find somebody, industry experts, that we could talk about what's going on in the car industry down the road. Some of the, not just Buyer's Armor, because we know that's it, but you're also an expert in this industry sector. And some people have, automotive stock. Some people are interested in this industry sector.
Sure.
And so maybe you could be our automotive correspondent.
I'd be happy to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds great.
Real quick, buyersarmor.com. And Wayne, before we go, phone number for this?
Certainly, 214-900-7479 or 214-618-0633.
All right. If you want to be a part of the new way America buys cars, look it up, buyersarmor.com. We'll be right back on the other side of this break and with Mark Pickren. And we're going to talk about a new medical service that these people have. If you've got pain, you got scars, these guys fix it. We'll be right back.